Biodiversity finance initiatives. This issue became alive following decisions adopted by the parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity. It was noted that a significant gap remains in finance for biodiversity management for countries to increase their efforts and achieve the 20 Aichi targets defined in the CBD's strategic plan for 2011 to 2020. A preliminary assessment recently conducted for implementing the CBD strategic plan estimated that the global investment required ranges anywhere between 130 to 440 billion US dollars annually to define biodiversity finance needs and gaps with greater precision and determine related challenges and opportunities for resource mobilization. A detailed national level assessment are therefore required. In this context, UNDP in October 2012 launched the Biodiversity Finance Initiative, that's called the BIOFIN. BIOFIN is a new global partnership seeking to address the biodiversity finance challenge in a more comprehensive manner. It attempts to build a sound business case for increased investment in the management of ecosystems and biodiversity. Who manages BIOFIN? BIOFIN is managed by the UNDP Ecosystems and Biodiversity Program in partnership with the European Union and the governments of Germany and Switzerland. They support the initiative with a total of 15 million US dollars as of May 2014. The Global Environment Facility is a further partner financing parallel in country projects, keeping in tune with the National Biodiversity Strategies and Action Plan, which is also called the NBSAPs. Now let us look at the aims and objectives of BIOFIN. BIOFIN aims to develop a methodology for quantifying the biodiversity finance gap at national level. It aims to improve cost effectiveness through mainstreaming of biodiversity into national development and sectoral planning. It is also going to be used for developing comprehensive national resource mobilizing strategies. BIOFIN will thus provide a framework for undertaking bottom-up analysis of the biodiversity finance gap and resource mobilization strategies. It is done through a transformative process led by the national stakeholder. BIOFIN works along two main axes: globally led development of new methodological framework. An entirely new methodological framework is being developed and piloted for undertaking national level bottom-up analysis of financial factors. This determines the current baseline investment in biodiversity, full cost of meeting national biodiversity conservation targets and the resulting finance gap, and the suitability of financial mechanisms and developing national resource mobilization strategies. It is ensured that it is fully appropriated by the national governments and other key in-country stakeholders. The methodologies applied in the project will be refined through regional and global learning. To help countries increase the importance attributed to biodiversity and in consequence bridge the financing gap, the work at national level will be led by Ministries of Finance, Economics or Planning and the Ministry of Environment. India and BIOFIN. India is one of the most important 7 mega-diverse countries in the world. It has over 45,000 species of plants and 91,000 species of animals. India's economy and the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people, many of them poor, depend on preventing biodiversity loss and environmental degradation. 4 of the 34 globally identified biodiversity hotspots are represented in India: the Himalaya, the Indo-Burma, the Western Ghats, Sri Lanka and Sundarland. India is also an acknowledged center of crop diversity and harbors hundreds of varieties of crops such as rice, maize, millets, etc. As an obligation under Convention on Biodiversity, India prepared the National Biodiversity Action Plan (NBAP) in 2008. Thereafter, India has developed 12 national biodiversity targets in consultation with concerned ministries or departments For this, it is using the strategic plan and its 20 Aichi targets as the main framework. Implementation of BIOFIN in India would be country-driven and would build on the activities already undertaken for assessing funding for biodiversity. BIOFIN provides a systematic and flexible approach to identify and mobilize the financial resources needed for implementing the National Biodiversity Action Plan and making progress towards achieving these targets. Through implementation of BIOFIN, it is expected to further enhance awareness and sensitization about significance of biodiversity in development sectors. This way, it will leverage existing resources to contribute more towards biodiversity and reducing the financial gap in achieving these biotargets. BIOFIN is expected to be piloted in 4 states: Gujarat, Kerala, Punjab and Uttarakhand. BIOFIN in India is led by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The initiative is hosted by the National Biodiversity Authority, that is NBA. It works with 4 relevant state biodiversity boards, with technical assistance from Wildlife Institute of India and the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. UNDP India manages the program under the guidance of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. A steering committee with representatives of relevant ministries will oversee the program and a technical advisory group will provide technical guidance. India updated its National Biodiversity Action Plan and also developed 12 National Biodiversity Targets in 2014. As a part of the exercise of updating NBAP, the Ministry has undertaken an assessment of budgetary allocations and expenditures related to biodiversity conservation in India through Ministry's core biodiversity related programs and non-core programs. Further, it also updated indirect peripheral funding from budgetary resources from other ministries or departments towards programs that have some bearing on these biodiversity conservation steps.